All right, what's good, everybody? It's your boy Akeem, and welcome to this vlog. Sorry I'm late, but I'm here to give you a preview of Week 5 of the 2017 college football year, and I have a great game for you as for my game of the week, and I'll talk to you about that at the very end of this vlog. Starting with the game earlier today between Northwestern at number 10, Wisconsin. I will obviously go with the Badgers in this one. Northwestern still has a pretty decent team who can pull the upset, but Wisconsin's ground attack and defense has actually been carrying this team over recent seasons. I will go with the Badgers in this game. Next up, number 21, Florida is going to be hosting unranked Vanderbilt. Vanderbilt actually got whipped by Alabama 59-0, showing what we kind of expected in that matchup. And I'm not going to say it's going to be the same thing against Florida. They're going to put up some points in this game, but I still will go with the Gators in this one. I think they're starting to build more confidence offensively, even though they had a narrow escape against Kentucky last week, 28-27. Next up, Maryland's going to be traveling to Minnesota to face the Golden Gophers. I will go with Minnesota in this one. I actually was started to believe in Maryland, especially when coming off the first 2 weeks of the season. But then last week's loss against UCF, I don't really understand how they lose to the Knights. I didn't really see that happening. Even though they still had their second string quarterback, I believe because of their speed, I thought they was going to wreak havoc in the Big Ten Conference. Now I'm starting to throw a little couple question marks before the Terrapins. But I think the Golden Gophers, they're still undefeated. They're not ranked, but I think they're going to pull off the home victory in this matchup. Next up, a home field advantage game between Penn State, number 4, against unranked Indiana. This was an obvious for me as well. We'll go with the Nittany Lions in this one. Saquon Barkley still going to keep himself as a front runner for this year's Heisman. Next up, a good SEC East game between Tennessee hosting number 7, Georgia. I did not really see Georgia winning last week, but Georgia actually did a great job. I think they only held their opponent to just 3 points, which was a shocker. I thought UGA was going to lose in that matchup and have an upset alert. But because they're now in the top 10, I actually will go with the Bulldogs in this one. Nick Chubb will lead the way in the ground attack. Tennessee has been struggling in recent weeks. Next up, another SEC matchup and a nominee for a game of the week, as number 13, Auburn's going to be hosting number 24, Mississippi State. Now, Auburn is a tough team defensively. They had a great game against Clemson. They held them to just 14 points, even though they only had 6 with a 14-6 loss. But they kept the game very close. I think because of the home field advantage and because of their defense, and they do a good job as far as controlling the clock with running the football with Petaway leading the way, their leading rusher. I think they will do the same against the Mississippi State Bulldogs. Next up, UCF 2-0 versus undefeated Memphis. Mike Norvell, the Memphis head coach, has been doing a great job thus far in the season with a big win over UCLA at home. That was a major shocker. Didn't see that one coming. I didn't even call that as one of my key matches for that particular week 2 weeks ago. But I think that Memphis is going to pull off the victory in this game. Next up, Texas A&M is going to be hosting South Carolina. Now, this can be still head coach Kevin Sumlin is in the hot seat. I'm really pulling through for Texas A&M and Coach Sumlin. He needs to just rebound from what we've been seeing this season. Struggled against Arkansas, lost to UCLA, and allowed UCLA to come back. His job is definitely in jeopardy. He needs to pull SEC wins and at least make it to an SEC championship appearance to really solidify his job and keep his job. I think if he loses this game, he will get fired, but I'm going to pull off for the Aggies in this matchup. Next up, an upset alert. One of my upset game nominees, Texas A&M is going to be hosting OK State, number 15th ranked in the country. Texas A&M is undefeated, I believe, and they have a good passing offense, just like OK State. Both teams don't really have great defenses, but I think because of OK State's loss last week, they will rebound their loss against TCU. They will rebound and pull off a victory, even though the game is at Lubbock, Texas. I think that the Texas Tech defense is not as good as TCU. TCU has a great defense. Head coach Gary Patterson's defense. I will go with the Cowboys over the Red Raiders in this matchup. Another good game for you guys to watch. Number 19, San Diego State is going to be hosting Northern Illinois. San Diego State's undefeated. They beat 2 Pac-12 teams. If the Pac-12 conference does pretty good this season, in particular with Arizona State and Stanford, if they do good this season, particularly Stanford, it can help catapult to have San Diego State, the Aztecs, to make it to a major college football bowl. Not the playoff, but a good bowl game, you know, like the Cotton Bowl or whatever outside big bowl, outside the playoff. Next up, I'm going to go with the Aztecs in that game. Next up, UCLA is going to be hosting Colorado. Colorado got spanked by Washington, so I will go with Josh Rosen, who's leading the nation in passing with over 1,700 yards. He should have a good prolific game over the Buffalo. Next up, Oregon's going to be hosting Cal. This is going to be a good game for you guys to watch. Now, Cal was my upset pick last week over USC. Couldn't pull it off because the quarterback Bowers did throw, I believe, 4 interceptions in that matchup. Struggled a lot, and I had to give good kudos to the Trojans. Even though they had a big upset against Washington State, 30-27 last night. Did not see that one coming. My mistake. I should have called that game out. But I will go with the Oregon Ducks in this one. I think because the game's going to be at Eugene, that's actually a tough environment for the Cal Bears. I'm going to go with the Ducks in this matchup. Lastly, my game of the week, as number 12, Virginia Tech is going to be hosting number 2, Clemson. This is going to be a big key in the battle that everybody's going to be looking at is quarterback Josh Jackson against that Clemson defense. Not too much the Clemson offense versus Tech's defense, but vice versa. Virginia Tech's offensive quarterback, Josh Jackson, has been doing a great job. 11 touchdowns, just 1 interception this season. Actually, one of the nation's leaders in quarterback rating. Now, quarterback Kelly Bryant's a good quarterback as well. He does a good job with his legs. But as far as passing, he did pass for just over 800 yards so far this season. But only 2 touchdowns to just 3 interceptions. Needs to do a better job as far as protecting the football. For this particular game, I'm going to put this game as my upset game of the week. For some reason, I think the Hokies will pull off the home upset because I think the Hokies has a respectable defense, and I think they're going to cause problems for Kelly Bryant in this matchup. Kelly Bryant is still a good quarterback, but I think the Hokie defense and Josh Jackson has something up their sleeve on both sides of the field, offensively and defensively for the Hokies. I think they're going to pull a narrow upset victory at home against the Clemson Tigers. Now, the next time I'm going to catch you guys will be on Tuesday morning, in which I will give you a recap of this week. Thank you for watching this vlog. I'm your man, Akeem McCall. Be easy.